5, 4, 3, 2.
Tier 1 performance.
Hey guys, welcome back to Tier 1 Performance. We are here today with special guest Mario Sencion. I'd like to thank you for coming on, man. We had your brother previously on, and you want to go ahead and tell us how your side of the version of how y'all grew up or how you got into baseball, and because he was a catcher, your brother was a catcher, and now you're a pitcher, so I know that's a completely different route and different things.
Absolutely. And before I start, thank you first and foremost for allowing me to come in and share my stories. I mean, of course, it's more about the next generation anyway. So here we go.
It's past, sadly.
Right. But no, the story here was basically, what can I do that can't be compared to Sergio? Right. So at that point, I was like, okay. I always want to kind of show him up as a kid. You know, I'm throwing the baseball, I want to strike you out because I want to hit, of course. So I figured, you know what? This is the one position that you really haven't played, including my father. So it's like I have to get in there and learn this. So the goal was pick up the ball and try to throw as hard as I could. And for those of you that know me, I didn't throw that hard. So I had to focus in on accuracy. So I just focused on that journey, and as I got older, it was just keep going at it, and it wasn't easy, so to speak. I had to continuously prove myself that I can play, because I either wasn't fast enough, or I didn't throw hard enough, or I didn't hit, so on and so forth. With Sergio, he had that natural ability to just put on catcher's gear and, block the baseball. And, I get it, Serge, before he gets on it. But, no, it's just, it came natural to him. I had to work on it. A lot of obstacles, as I'm sure you've experienced as well. But that's in a nutshell what it was for me.
Yeah, okay. So what was your dynamics, or as growing up, going through high school, getting ready to get recruited and play college, what are kind of the things that you developed to put you over the edge over everyone else?
Well, let's see. I was so unorthodox. I was still behind the growth spurt, so to speak. Geez, late is an understatement. Okay. But nonetheless, my determination against you're slow, you can't do it, so on and so. It's like, no, now I'm going to prove it that I can. And fast forward through high school, no, I didn't get the recruitment, so I had to go ahead and grind and try out and all of that. And it just got to the point where I'm going to do this just to prove it. And hindsight, if I can go back, I probably wouldn't have played another inning above high school baseball. And that may come as a shock because, yes, do I have professional experience? Absolutely. Like I said, it was a motivation behind that. I'm going to show you that it wasn't luck. And then you know what happens after you prove them wrong? Now you have to go play and perform and all this.
And over and
I was
over.
like, wait a minute. I don't think I signed up for this part, but I got ready for it. And then I come from the space of, if we're here, commit and make sure you do it to the best of your.
So now that we're on that conversation, the mentality of you saying, I'm going to go do it, the work ethic that comes along with that, were you always that way, or did it come to a point where you had to build yourself up with that mentality? Because you don't see that often in today's youth. A lot of it's just kind of I'm here, let's play. Baseball is fun, or I have all this talent, therefore I don't need to really work hard. So being someone from an opposite end of that, is that something we would say you always had that intellectually, mentally? I've always had that mentality, or it took a certain set of sequences. It took me to see certain results to realize this is what I want to do. This is how I'm gonna.
It was a program that took place with my brother. You can't strike me out. Well, I'm gonna show you, and then it's just you get that. Absolutely, and it wasn't anger. It was just, I want to show you that I can. I'm 4.5 years younger than my brother, so you already know. Right, for the younger siblings, I get it. I understand.
It's war.
Oh God, yes. And then when I would go, now we're talking about playing against older teams or even your peers. No, because off of this field, I'm playing against my older brother, so I got to be better and continue to get better. Yeah. So to me, there wasn't something that was a aha. It was like a continuous, you're always going to be in competition.
So would you say that your baseball career was more like, I want to distinguish myself from my brother? Because I have a lot of players that have siblings. Usually the ones that I get are usually on the younger side, and they have their older sibling, and they're always playing catch up. But do you think that when you played, it was like, I want to differentiate myself and go on my own path, or I want to catch him, beat him?
It was always go on my own path, and it was something that was understood between both of us. We're on a journey to get to the next level. And it wasn't more so of a competition against each other. Once it got to the point like, okay, this is what we're aiming for. As kids, it was always a competition. But as we're going after it, that next level, we became more so how can we help each other? What hole do you see on my swing? Where would you pitch to me? And then, of course, we would just work together. And to see him get that opportunity, it was like I was getting that opportunity. Because at the end of the day, if somebody around me is getting that opportunity, I got to be next. Right. I'm around the fire. Right. But that was my.
So go ahead and walk me through your baseball career, starting after high school.
Okay, let's see.
I know it's an adventure.
Yeah. I walked on to the college I was attending, and I can admit I was out of shape. I had no business going to that tryout. However, there was something that got me was when the coach at the time was mispronouncing my name. My last name at that, and I was like, wait a minute. My brother played against a rival, and he always shut you guys down behind the plate, so I know you know him. This is my inner voice. I was like, hey, do you know that catcher from this school? Oh, yeah. Perfect. Everything. Pronounce the name perfectly. I said, yes, that's my last name. Man, that guy wrote some squiggly line there, and there went the workout, no problem. But because, number one, I knew as an athlete, I don't know if you had the same experience, but when you're somewhere and you perform and you just know that this ain't it. So I kind of knew I wasn't making this. So I ended up going and got with a trainer, started focusing, started listening to other scouts that I knew. What was your preparation style for your kids that you drafted, and they would give me information.
This is kind of when you deep dove into I'm committed.
100% like that, because that was embarrassing to me. Yeah. To get up there and try out and you call it what it is, you suck. Yeah. I was like, nah, that ain't me. And put the work together. The following year came right back up, and the coach made the comment, whoa, you cleaned up well. And cool. He sees the work. I went in there. Second year, sophomore year, I don't think I had there wasn't an excuse to not make that team. So, nonetheless, went in, asked the guy, listen, I appreciate the opportunity to try out. I'm not a part of the team. I get it. But can I continue to work out with your team? I'm a pitcher, so I give your guy some time off, and I work on my, I can appreciate that, but, insurance purposes, I'll sign the waiver. It doesn't matter. Just, well. And then he chuckled. Now, at that point, you might as well have lit the fire, bro. And then I was like, oh, this is funny. Okay. You know what? Next time we talk, I'm not only going to be playing baseball, I'm going to be a professional ball player. And he chuckled even harder. I was like, okay, fair enough. This happened sophomore year, September. By junior year, if I'm not mistaken, May, I signed the contract to go play in Europe. So, and next thing you know, the counselor at the college asked him, how come yet another? And I'm going to leave that story there. Yeah. But nonetheless, after I came back, I couldn't play 4-year baseball anymore because of that status. So then I decided to attend 2 colleges, a junior college and a 4-year, and play for the junior college because that was legal.
What junior college was that?
Burlington County College in South Jersey. And next thing you know, went 7-1. The buzz started going, preseason All-American the following year. Great. Everything's cool. Then I won the first one, lost 4 in a row. People were like, oh, not the same. Then I won 5.
Yeah. Baseball's a weird sport.
Oh, you were not kidding. It's like, could we sprinkle the losses on the previous year, maybe?
What's funny is, like, it's not just you out there. It's you and 8 other guys. So it may not even be, like, I mean, we all know that it kind of sometimes when we're playing, it's like I feel like God is against me when we're playing that. You know, you just have one of those games. Like for me as a position player, it's like this guy's throwing 89, 88 trash heat, and I'm 0 for 4 with 3 Ks. Like it's just like I was like, and I don't even feel bad. Like I think I'm playing pretty decent. Right. I just for some reason I'm just missing the ball, and then the other team is just seeing the ball really well and just hitting it off, and it's like I don't even think my pitcher's throwing bad. I just think they're hitting it where we're literally not. That's right.
Oh, man, you kind of know as a pitcher, first inning, if you already threw your whole bucket out there, oof, it's going to be a quick one today, coach. Get me out. So, oh, yeah. So, after that, just, going through that, having to go through that obstacle and the losses and going back to the winning column and, okay, there's some buzz coming around again. Just talk because I didn't overwhelm you with my fastball. But again, I spot up very well. Next thing you know, I pitch against the number 1 pitcher in the state, lose 2-1, but again, the buzz is there. Very following day, freak accident, throwing batting practice, a kid hits the ball, ricochets off the turtle and goes over the L screen, pops me in the eye. Oh, and so then there goes that. Ended up going down to North Carolina to play there to try to rehab after basically sleeping in a rocking chair for 6 weeks of the blood and stuff. Yeah. But it was a fun ride. Met some awesome individuals there, and I understood at that point my career's done. Now it's about the next wave. And I'm very grateful for that opportunity because now I'm able to pass it along to the next generation that's out there and to give them a clear picture of these are the odds. You got to go through this stuff.
Well, that's a good point because I don't think it's talked about enough when after the ride's over. How do you go? I feel like a lot of people have a hard time coming off of college, right? Because only a small percentage of just D1 athletes get drafted. Then you got your smaller percentages of D2, D3s, NAIAs, and then you get people that get drafted that aren't even in the U.S. on top of that, right? And not only that, they've now lowered it from 40 rounds to, was it 20 rounds? Yeah, to 20 rounds. So like that, and then the option of not everyone can go play independent ball either. And so like that option of like, hey, it's kind of cold turkey. It's just like abrupt, like the ride is over. Like you're no longer the king on campus. You've graduated or you've run out of eligibility. Now you're back home. Like, where do I go from here? And baseball, it's hard in the real world, I think, because our seasons are in the spring. You graduate in the spring. It's not like you're getting any internships while you're playing, right? Therefore, so you have it's hard to connect on a business level, maybe not on a sport level, but on a business level. But how do you go from, hey, we're done here to now we got to be adults, be in the real world, go get a job to make money. Nothing's handed to us anymore. You're not working out for 5 hours now. You're working for 8.
Exactly. No, with me, it was a smooth transition because I was already an instructor as I was playing in college as well. So if I was in the off season, I already had a pretty good base. And so once I graduated, I knew that, okay, I still have that base, so to speak, go through the summer, but then I got hired to teach and went into that realm and as a phys ed teacher. Still kept with the lessons and whatnot, but to say that I had a disconnect to separate and become this adult, no, I think I extended being a kid a little longer, and then the adulting kind of phased in with the teaching and all of that.
And the bills.
Oh, yeah,
and the rent.
All the good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so as you progressed as a player, diving back into your career, what are some things that you learned along the way that helped you in pitching that you think was absolutely essential to you having success?
You have to find that tick. There's a lot of people throw the words unconsciously competent. I say that's the tick, where you're there and you're performing, and in all reality, you are disconnected because you're so zoned in, and you got to dig deep to get there. Because I feel once you're at that space, you're going at your top performance level. You're putting everything that you sweat over in one performance, and then you got to get ready for the next one. Right. So that would be it.
So like that, taking that mentality and that tick, right? Obviously, it comes from practice being built up and then taking that essentially and being so focused and lasered in to apply it into a game situation and then succeed, right? How did you learn to get over that hump of taking what you got from practice and then applying it? Or was it something that came naturally to you?
Oh, no, never. Naturally in baseball never in the same sentence. It was a lot of trial and error, the failures. You can take it and become the angriest person in the world and do nothing about it, or fail, get the feedback, go back to the drawing board, change your approach. What was your thought process when you got rocked? Why did you throw the 0-2 fastball right down the middle? Yeah. What about your mechanics didn't help you out to where you were supposed to go? Right. Come from the space of curiosity, not the space of blame. Yeah. Well, the catcher called that pitch. You threw it.
Yeah, I think when I learned when I was a player to it's instead of me getting emotional about getting out or striking out, it's more like becoming like a student. Like, why did it happen? Like a scientist, kind of. I am a scientist, but kind of like a scientist, kind of like, well, what did I do at this moment to where I dipped and I popped the ball up, right? I remember I need to really focus on how in tune I am with my body and what I'm thinking at that exact moment, because I know this guy threw a fastball and I know I could have crushed it. I've done it a million times in practice, but what did I change in that game? And sometimes it's just my eyes got big and I felt like I was Albert Pujols and I really just wanted to send it 500 feet. Right. In reality, I've never sent anything 500 feet except a car. So. And I swung, and so I tried to do everything a little bit too much with my arms, and I got underneath it, and I was early, and I went a mile into the sky, and then, then I dialed it back. Well, there is no difference what I do in practice. It's literally just all of a sudden these guys got jerseys, and it's not my imagination now. It's literally it's weird. We had this saying in summer ball, we need to do less. We need to do less instead of doing more, which kind of sounds dumb and ridiculous, but less is more. The less you do, you're not overthinking, you're not stressed. Hey, at the end of the day, this is summer ball. Why are we stressed about summer ball? Who cares if there's a scout, an MLB scout in the stands watching at us, or who cares if your girlfriend's there or there's 1,000 people screaming your name? At the end of the day, I think, personally, in 2 weeks, no one's going to remember this AB at all. Unless something great happens. But if something doesn't great happen, I'm going to be like, you remember when I grounded out in the 8th inning against so-and-so? No. Why? How could you not remember? Why would I care? Exactly, So, and I have a hard time getting that across to my younger guys. Because I got some kids that when they get up to the plate, it's like the world's on their shoulders. And I was like, dude, we got 13 other games going on at this complex, and you're like an 8-year-old kid. Just see the ball, hit the ball. If you don't, who cares? There's really no difference to it. But it's hard to get that mentality of taking what you practice and then realizing there is no difference into the game. And as soon as people realize that, it's the game is a lot more fun, I think, and it's a lot more stress-free because you only get so many times to act. Pitching is a little bit different. It's almost your battles are very much next pitch until you get taken out. So I understand that controversy. But going into your career towards the end when you got into pro ball, can you walk us through that whole process for you?
It was a roller coaster because, like I said, okay, you did it. Yeah. Now you got to produce. Let's go. And it was more of it became all right, this is a daily thing now. I have to produce and prove it every single day. And one mistake can be the difference between you playing the next series or not. And a whole bunch of things take place on the backside of baseball, the business side.
Right. Not all people understand.
Oh, absolutely not. Exactly. So, at that point, it's to know, wait a minute, what do I have to do? Because now that the person next to you ain't going to be so happy. Exactly. So they're not going to give me the information that perhaps I'm looking for. Now, this is where I tell all my kids now, have a little notebook, write down everything you get from individuals. What was the workout? What your coach tell you to do? Because you're going to be in a space where you're by yourself. And that notebook is going to be your best friend. Right. They look at me like I have 10 heads. And then they get older and they said, Coach, I should have written that notebook up.
I mean, my notebook, was like an iPod Touch, and I would just write in the little notes app, like all the
Thank
things.
you for making me feel old.
Yeah, I know. Well, I was just with the times. I was with the times. Like I could have had a notebook technically, but I use that, and I would refer back to it when I'm struggling, and when I would get to it, I was like, hey, I went 0 for 2 with a walk. It's not great, not terrible, but I'd be like, what was I doing? Why did I go 0 for 2? Come back, check it. Oh, I have that thing that I worked. I had all these notes written about my swing, what I'm supposed to focus on in order, so that if I needed to reset myself, I had that. But I tell kids all the time, I was like, hey, if you need to write this down, get your phone out, send a text, whatever, do it. I was like, because what it's not going to happen is you're not going to strike out, text me, hey, I struck out. First thing I'm going to text you is what happened. And then you're going to go like, I popped up. And I was like, yeah, so what happened? Unless you send me a video, there's no way I can help you. And odds are you're not going to be you better not be texting me during a game anyway. Or I'll get parents that text me during the game that says, hey, this is what Jalen did on his first 2 ABs, and I'll see it, and I'll be able to point it out like that, and I'm like, but this is stuff he knows. He knows what he did, and he's just going up there and he's not making any sort of adjustments. I was like, why? And I was like, didn't we talk about this 18 times? Yeah, I forgot. I was like, very inconvenient time to forget. So we've been working on it for a month, so very inconvenient time. So yeah. Absolutely, writing stuff down, I think, is absolutely essential. It's kind of like writing down your goals. How do you know where you're going if you don't have it written down? Yeah, it's you tell a kid, go get me something from the store. All right, where's the store? And then you tell them where the store is. You don't think they're not going to write that down? How do they know? You can't give them 18 directions and expect them to memorize it here. It's ridiculous. It's the dumbest thing. So how giving you now the space and time to clear up this misunderstanding between you and Sergio's.
It's funny because the moment I'm going to speak of are the handful of times that I actually played with him on the same team.
Right. So for my listeners that are now listening, back when Mitch did a podcast interview with Sergio, he said they never played together. I quoted him saying, "You guys never played
professionally." No.
Professionally.
Professionally, we never did play together.
Yeah, okay.
We played together,
before that. But he said that there is going on before that. He was saying that he goes, we got close to playing, but then it just didn't work out, right? But then now you're saying there's this discrepancy before you guys.
Oh no, that's accurate. What he mentioned in regards to, I call it how I see it. I feel like I was the space maker, but nonetheless, I got the experience. It was awesome. But what the discrepancy was, there was a day that I'm playing with him again, not pro, and I was due to pitch. So here we go. We get to this field, and it was cold, it's fall, you name it. All right. The other team was pretty legit. You saw them, and they were monsters. Nonetheless, I do my routine, go in there. Serge gets down, and the first pitch in the bullpen, over his head. Okay. The next pitch to the left, past him. The next pitch, short, under the 5-hole.
Is it just cold or is it cold?
Brother, I couldn't find the strike zone if you paid me for it in the bullpen. To the point, pitch number 5. Ball's over his head. He just stays there. He gets up, puts the mask on his head, and walks back to the bench.
Says you're not ready.
Tells the manager it's going to be a long game. My pregame warm-up, 5 pitches. Went into the game, no hitter.
Okay. It's weird how it works.
That's that exact game that he's talking about. We took it to the 5th or 6th. No. We completed it. Not a 9 game, not a 9-inning game, a 7-inning, but we finished it.
Yeah.
How many people did I walk? Not one. But started with 5 pitches all over the place. So, again, baseball, you just never know how's it going to turn out. Just, how many times don't you have a heck of a pre-game at-bat? You feel great. Bullpen's amazing. Get in there, no strikes at all.
There's a story about I had a teammate in college, and they were playing. I wasn't there. This is before I got there. So when I'm like a freshman hearing this for the first time, they're like, hey, don't be nervous or anything when you go down. We play an SEC team. You can't be as bad as this guy. And I was like, well, tell me what happened with this guy, and because he was in my position. He was an outfielder. And they're like, yeah, we went to Florida Gulf Coast, and he was doing BP and he missed every single swing in BP on the field. And I was like, excuse me? And he goes, yeah, but when he played, he rocked a double off the wall. I was like, oh.
There we go.
I was like, whatever works. Like everyone, like apparently, but like everyone was freaking out because they looked at him like, are you okay? he's like, he couldn't get it out of the infield. Like just kept swinging and missing. And then come game time, first time barrel and meet ball. Like, but when it counts, you know, it's a funny, yeah. So what do you, I know you talked to me about make good, go viral aspect. What you want to tell me a little bit about that?
Well, it was a company that started during the pandemic. Okay. You know, my cousin and myself just on the phone, and he goes, "Man, do you see all this stuff that's going on social media? And you have people slapping each other and just doing nonsense." He goes, "Why? You know?" And he calls me. We hang up. Calls me back. "Listen, I'm gonna say something. I'm afraid of it, but I'm gonna say something. Make good, go viral. What do you think? I'll call you back." I start, okay, the name doesn't exist. Okay, we could do this. And next thing you know, 15 minutes later, we had a whole freaking idea on paper and made it happen. So what it is highlighting the good that's in the world. So, for example, I think it's amazing that you guys have come up with the concept of interviewing individuals that have been through the path that the new generation is about to go through. Right. So it's stuff like that. We would highlight individuals that are doing something like that impacts the community in a positive nature. And we'll go ahead and let the world know this is what's going on. You know, it's not always who's slapping who or who's doing something mischievous. It's who's helping who. Let people know that there are good people in this world. You know, so that's our main focus, and how we do it is through T-shirt sales. And 60% of the profits, we go back and pass it along to the community. You know, do we highlight that every single time we do it? No, because it's not about that. It's about helping the individual. Think about it, if I walked up and with a Make Good Go Viral logo and tell somebody, hey, look at the camera and say thank you. How about thinking of the person and what they're going through?
So like the things that you donate to, the 60%, like what kind of things do you do back that you give back to the community for?
Sometimes breast cancer awareness, sometimes a local community pantry. You know, we'll donate our time into a community. So right now we're in talks with doing something in Houston next month. So it's just collaborating, you know, like-minded individuals that have the same mindset to help others. I want to highlight that. You know, sometimes I'll jump in to that. So, for example, I run into an organization that they're doing some big event. Okay, so the profit from the shirt sales are going to go there. You know, and then I'll go ahead and show up, take a couple pictures and highlight them, get a little write-up, and just keep pushing the good that's out there.
So how far does Make Good Go Viral's reach as of right now?
Well, worldwide technically, because we have sent out stuff to other countries. But as far as reach, man, we're still the best kept secret.
Okay, absolutely. Where can we find y'all?
You can check us out at www.makegoodgoviral.com and also on Instagram. Make Good Go Viral.
Make Good Go Viral. Excellent. You know, I think that's also great because like kind of like the reason why Mitch and I started Tier 1 Performance in the first place is to give back to what we couldn't have when we were aspiring players. You know, I think Mitch and I did very good with what we were given and of the opportunities that we made. Mitch was an all-star shortstop. I was an all-star outfielder back in our hometowns. We ended up going I went out of state, Mitch stayed in state, but we ended up going to play Division I baseball. You know, we had our own chances at trying to go pro. Like, I thought we did what we could have with what we were given. And, you know, I think, and kind of like we started also in the pandemic as well. You know, at first it was just like, before the pandemic started, I was doing sessions because I was just a broke kid from college, like trying to make money, driving an hour and a half to the north side of Texas to like give lessons to these kids, like outdoors, on a field, whatever. And then, you know, it got to a point where it kept growing. And then I was like, hey, like you and me, let's go ahead and do this together. And like, I got so many kids, like you coach the same way as me, we'll split it. And we did that a couple times. Mitch was like, let's just make this a business. And we'll throw like programs on top of it. We'll throw consulting. We'll teach these kids, you know, what we couldn't, you know, if they're really driven and passionate about it. Because Mitch and I, like, it's like you wouldn't catch us going out. We would be practicing 5 hours a day. Like we wake up, lift, go to school. School, you know, we have that light practice in the middle of the day. Finish rest of school, go after school practice, come back. Mitch is gonna lift. I'm gonna lift with Mitch. I'm gonna go off do conditioning. We meet back up, we eat, and then we do hitting at night, and we start that cycle over. And and we formed that for like 2 years strong, like solid, and like that was what it was. But like that was just hard work. Right. That wasn't instruction. That wasn't like working smarter. That was just working hard as we possibly could. And like we kind of got over those humps that other kids did. But like if we would have had someone that guided us, like us right now, that had guided kids like us in high school back then, I mean, Lord knows where we could be. Like maybe we're not here. Maybe we still are. It doesn't matter. But like it could have increased our chances and our athletic careers by a lot. And so now that's our version of, to pull it all back in full circle, this is our version of giving back, and kind of like how you are, make good, go viral. Like I think that is more important, especially considering how flawed social media can be these days. Everything's behind a lens, whether this podcast is behind a lens or, the funniest video that is trending on TikTok or Instagram is behind a lens. Most of it, most of the content you see nowadays is very entertainment based for humor, whether that comes at the expense of others or it's very provocative, to put it in like layman's terms, right? It's very
call it what it is.
Yeah, and I pride myself, like we've been doing podcasting for what, about like a year, Mitch? Probably like for a year and some change now, and like I think the one thing that we hold value strong to us is like our standards and our values. Like we've never changed the content of our podcast. Like, so what, we don't get the most views, and that's okay, but like we have a track record and a trail of someone who does want to do it the right way and who does want to learn, like who does like can relate to the path that we are taking or setting out, and they can come find us wherever. And I think that's kind of the bigger point versus just doing a podcast, getting 1 million followers, and then collecting a paycheck. Right. Like in the grand scheme, that's what we did this for. We didn't do it to get famous. Otherwise, we probably wouldn't have done a baseball podcast to get famous. Like we don't, like we both, like, and this is something we do on the side to give back to our community. We do coach, and we make profit, but all that profit goes back into the merchandise and marketing and being able to afford decent equipment now so that more people can hear about us. And then we also still do coaching and instruction down at Deep at Humble. And we Mitch and I know the impact we make on some of these kids' lives. And I think it's a little bit different from you guys, because like I'm working with these kids for a long time, and then I see like fits and traces, whereas you guys are just big on, hey, let's have that impact kind of immediately. So same level of gratification, but
100%.
different kind of processes. But I can relate to it, is what I'm saying.
100%. I mean, to be able to, for example, you go ahead and tell me, hey, we're going to do this event on such and such date. I would like to collaborate with you. Great. So I'll go ahead and we'll design your shirts. You sign off on them. Yeah, we like it. Put a Make Good Go Viral stamp on it, and you already know that your event's already impacting somebody. And now the purchases of the shirts are also going to impact somebody else. Because it doesn't have to go directly back to you, but it's say, hey, so this company did this for the community, and they also aided in for example, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And so it's like 2 for 1 type of thing. So to me, yes, it is a gratification to be able to say, hey, we impacted X amount of individuals today. In your case, this one podcast, who knows who's going to watch this 3-4 years down the line, and it's like, I get it.
Like I understand, and that's the whole point of it. But we will definitely have to go and do some sort of collaboration.
I'm looking forward to it.
But Mario, it was great having you on. I think we've got a crisp 50-minute podcast in, and this is it kind of just flew by. Would love to have you on again, and I appreciate you coming out.
Absolutely, it's my pleasure. And once again, I thank you for extending the invitation, and I look forward to many more collaborations.
Absolutely. Thank you guys. Take care.
3, 2.